Yo, what is up, Digidestin? It's your boy TPG back at it again with another Digimon video. Today, I am recording a deck profile for you guys that I got fourth with in Mario's Gaming World's subathon tournament. I played Quartzmon, and my only loss was round 1 to Raid War Greymon. This deck really has a really strong matchup into Beelzemon. So if you're looking for something to play against like a bunch of Beelzemons with, definitely give this deck a try. It feels very, very good into that matchup, as well as having a solidly good matchup into the rest of the format. Its hardest games are against like Raid War Greymon's kind of hard because they can swing over your Quartzmon. And then I actually found Machinedramon to be the hardest matchup because de-digivolving feels really bad if you don't play around it correctly. But if you play around it correctly, you can definitely do very well with this deck. So let's hop right into the deck profile. Okay, guys, so here we are with the deck profile that I got 4th place in Mario's Gaming World circuit. The only deck I lost to was round 1. I lost to War Greymon, the raid stuff. That's a really good matchup into Quartzmon, so that one's understandable. But this deck eats Beelzemon alive. What did I play against? I played against War Greymon, Beelzemon. I think another green deck. I don't think it was Bloom, though. I played against Machinedramon in the finals. That one was actually really hard because de-digivolve also hurts this deck a lot, but you can definitely come out on top on that one. I played against something else too, and I cannot remember it right now, but there was 5 rounds, I believe. So let's hop into the profile. So we play 1 copy of Gummymon. So for our eggs, we're just gonna put them here. 1 copy of Gummymon, and then 4 copies of Argamon. So Gummymon, when the opponent's Digimon becomes suspended, you draw 1, and then Argamon started your turn when Digimon becomes unsuspended, gain 1 memory during the unsuspend phase. So Argamon's gonna help you get a bunch of memory, get your turn rolling. And the Gummymon, we need 5 eggs in this deck because we go through our Digitama so quickly and so rapidly. So Gummymon's sort of just like the next best one. For our rookies, we play 2 copies of Terriermon, 3 copies of Palmon from BT11, 4 copies of Palmon from BT10, 4 copies of Palmimon from EX3, and that is it for our rookies. So Terriermon is simultaneously one of the best cards in the deck and one of the worst cards in the deck. The problem with Terriermon is that he's not a plant or vegetation, but not letting your opponent gain memory is so strong. This helped me beat Machinedramon, because they had black mem boost on board, and I would choke them at once, so they couldn't go into their Machinedramon lines, and then they couldn't if they hard slammed EX Machinedramon, they weren't able to gain memory because of Terriermon. Palmimon's super important. Your turn when this Digimon when an effect suspends this Digimon, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. This is the best way to remove blockers. You Digizorb Palmu, suspend something, whatever you Digizorb, swing over the blocker. For the best card in the deck, Palmon, on play, reveal top 4 of your deck, add 1 card of vegetation or plant and its traits, and 1 card from Fairy with Fairy and among them to your hand. And then this card I thought about bumping up to 4, but 3 seems fine so far. And this is Palmon from BT11. At the start of your turn, draw 1. So you draw 1, and then your start of your turn affected proc, drawing you an additional card, which is very nice. So we do play 13 rookies. So you will see them most of the time. And this deck gets a lot of Digimon, so it's like kind of bricky, but also because of mulligans now, you should always be able to see a line. We play 12 level 4s. We play 4 copies of Sun Flowmon, 4 copies of Red Vegemon, and 4 copies of Vegemon. So Sun Flowmon is literally the best card in the deck. When Digivolving, suspend one of your Digimon. You may play a Digimon with a Vegetation, Plant, or Fairy with 3,000 DP or less from your hand. It comes in unsuspended, which is very nice. Sun Flowmon's inheritables. When an effect suspends one of your Digimon, draw 1. That counts like Digizorbing, just your effects in general that do that. Very good. Red Vegemon is one of the MVPs of the deck because going first, this deck is so good. Use Digivolve into something, raising Red Vegemon, give your opponent 1. And like that seems really bad because you have a stack of vanillas most likely. Since, well, yeah, you have a stack of vanillas since none of your rookies have inheritables. But what matters is the value, right? You're putting your opponent at 1, and all of your 5s have Digizorb. No, almost all your 5s have Digizorb. So you're going to get so much value on the next turn. Like, it's really good. This is probably the first card I'd cut in this deck if I were to make a change, and that's Digimon. So he's a 2-cost, 4-cost hard play, 2-cost to Evo, 3k DP Digimon. But he has start of your turn, gain 1 memory. And oftentimes, like, you need, like, you don't need, you can go crazy with 1 memory, like, it happens, but a lot of the times you want, like, you know, 3 to 4 memory to just have a really strong turn, because the more bodies you can put on board with this deck, the better it is. I mean, you auto lose to Death Xmon, but like the more bodies you have out there, the better this deck is. But he gains you a memory at the start of your turn, so that helps. But also because it's a 2-cost Evo, like you're supposed to be in much value as possible. I could easily see this being switched out for any 1-cost Evo. So you could do like Stigmon. Stigmon's pretty bad actually. I would either do Weedmon or OG Vegemon. Probably Weedmon because I think he's a 3-cost to hard play if you have to. But you're never gonna use his effect, so take that with a grain of salt. I still like Vegemon. I think right now the 2-cost doesn't matter as much. But if we go into a format where that 1 memory is going to cost a lot and it's not really worth the effect of Vegemon, then yeah. For the 5s, we play 1 Argamon, 2 Cherrymon, 3 Blossomon, 4 Agitarmon. So we're playing 10 level 5s, which is a lot, but like the top 6 all have Digizord. The only one that doesn't is Agitarmon. Agitarmon's arguably the best one because main, when you suspend, you can suspend one of your green Digimon to play a card with Vegetation Plant or Fairy that's traits for 3k DP or less. And then it has Inheritable. When an effect suspends one of your Digimon, gain 1 memory. Super good card, super good advantage engine. The rest we have Argamon. Of course, this card's limited. I think if this card, I see an argument though to make Argamon either another Cherrymon or another Blossomon, because this card's a mutant. It's not a plant or vegetation. So if you leave this on board, it's not going to count for your Hydramon or like any of your effects, which sucks. Cherrymon's only Digizorb 2 because they wanted to make him fair, but he has an effect where opponent's turn, when opponent's Digimon attacks, you can switch the attack target to one of your suspended Digimon, and it's once per turn on your opponent's turn. 3 copies of Blossomon. This is low-key, like, Agitarmon's, like, really strong, but you only Agitar really once. Like, you'll put Agitar in Raising, and then, like, that once you raise that stack, you probably are never going to get into Agitar again unless you're already just winning really well. But Blossomon is, like, the MVP of this deck because you can Digivolve for, like, 0 and then 1 and then free into your 5 and then into Bloomlord, and Bloomlord's going to gain you a bunch of memory usually, so, like, Bloomlord will only cost, like, 1 or 2. 0, maybe gain, maybe more, like negative. Like Blossomon is so good. We only play 3 copies because it's heavily searchable and you often see it. And also in that exact scenario, Argamon does the exact same. Argamon's only scenario where it comes up is if you have Hydramon on board. Argamon won't count for Hydramon. But Argamon does help with Bloomlord numbers, which is useful. So that is it for the 5s. Let's move on to the 6s. So this deck's almost the exact same. You'll see, I think there's like 2 cards different in basically the BT 10 list and then now. Actually, I guess we have the stuff from BT 11 in here. So it's the same as BT 11, but with like 1 new card. So 4 Bloomlordmon, 4 Hydramon. So Bloomlordmon, again, if you guys don't know, when Digivolving, you may suspend one of your Digimon, then gain 1 memory for every suspended Digimon with Vegetation Plant or Fairy and its traits. And then if you gain 2 or more memory, unsuspend this Digimon, gains piercing for the turn. And then it also has your turn. For every 2 suspended Digimon you haven't played, this Digimon gains plus 2k DP on secure attack plus 1. And he counts himself when you're attacking, which is very nice. Hydramon, you could argue to play this at 3, but like I don't even know what you'd put in for that 4th slot, because like 3's fine, but 4 is just better. And like you could probably switch it for like maybe a Blossomon or like another one of these Palmons. But that's probably all I'd switch it for, and my ratios feel fine to me. So if you feel like you're breaking a lot, then just cut 1 Hydra for one of either of those slots, whichever one you feel like you need more. Hydramon has a bunch of effects. So when Digivolving, you just suspend one of your opponent's Digimon, and then all turns when an opponent's Digimon becomes suspended, gain 1 memory for every other plant and vegetation or fairy you control. So it's every plant, vegetation, or fairy except itself, essentially. And then end of your turn, if you have 2 or more suspended Digimon with vegetation, plant, or fairy and its traits, place one of your opponent's suspended Digimon at the bottom of their deck. Super good removal card. This card wins games, just bot decking like your opponent's best card, and like, okay, GG. Hydramon is what a lot of people are scared of, because like if you have a wide board, not only are they scared of being bottom deck, they're scared of, okay, if I swing, because it's all turns on that gain memory. They're like, if I swing, how much memory am I losing? And usually the answer is a lot. So, yeah. So the only new card in the entire deck is 2 copies of Quartzmon. This card feels really bad. Like, it feels bad when you see it off a search because you can only grab it off Green Mem Boost. You can't grab it off of any of your other searchers. But if you draw this card, you're probably winning the game. This card, so not only does this deck very easily beat Beals, and I forgot to explain that, Hydramon just auto beats Beals. If you bot deck their Ballmon they put on board, or like anything really, like you pop off. And all their milling to gain memory doesn't matter when you have a fat board and then a Hydramon on board, and you're going to gain 5 memory when they swing anyways. Super good counter. And then also, Quartzmon's really nice in the Beals as well, because often they'll get very close to decking out on turn like 3 or 4. And Quartzmon, you suspend their eye and Mako's, cool. Now, congrats on trying to not deck out. Like, sure. It's so busted. It has other effects, right? But they never come up. Like, I don't think I've had a game where I dropped Okay, so I did. I had a game where I dropped Quartzmon and my opponent didn't just, like, give up. And it was in the finals against Machinedramon in game 3. He was able to de-digivolve my and my Bloom down into I think it was a Cherry, which just let me go into Hydramon and bot deck his Machinedramon. So it was whatever. But so usually if they out Quartzmon, it ends up being a good thing for you unless they delete it, but it's very hard to delete because it's level 7, 15k DP. But it's a 6-cost Evo on green, black, or white. It has Wind Digivolving, suspend all other Digimon and all Tamers. Then for every 2 suspended Digimon and or Tamers, gain 1 memory. So you're gonna gain a bunch of memory back. And then all turns other than this Digimon, all Digimon and Tamers don't unsuspend. That counts unsuspend phase. That counts unsuspend effects. They don't unsuspend. Super busted. And then when attacking, suspend 1 of your opponent's Digimon or Tamers. Then trash the top card of your opponent's security stack for every 5 suspended Digimon and or Tamers. That counts yours. So in this deck where you're gonna have a fat board, you're almost always going to trash at least 1. I think against... the other matchup was Black War. So against Black War, he had 3 Cool Boys, a Yuga, and I think it was a Metal Gray X on board. It was either that or a Black War X, I don't remember. But I go into Quartzmon. I suspend all his Tamers, everything. He has 2 security left. Well, he has 5 things on board. I have 5 on mine. Swing, trash top 2, Quartzmon for game. It was disgusting. This card is so, so strong. Next we have... our 2 Tamers, which is just 2 copies of Mimi. Mimi's busted, guys. Sets you 3 memory, get an egg or bring a Digimon out. You can almost always just be super obnoxious with this deck by swinging for a bunch of security with your bodies on board. And, like, Mimi's just the safest way to go for a game because, like, you never have to be like, okay, if they hit a Gaia Force, right, and they kill my unsuspended dude, then I lose. You just, like, okay, tap Mimi, bring my dude out of raising once my attacks are done as long as I have a 5 on board. GG. Very good card. For options, we only play 3 options. We play 2 Green Mem Boost and 1 HPD. HPD, broken. You get to go into Quartzmon for 1. You're always going to gain at least 1 back off Quartzmon if you're doing it. So, free. And this card's just broken, right? Anytime you have HPD in hand and then, like, go into Hydramon or, like, Bloomlord, it doesn't matter if you're getting full value or not. I think there was a game where I went into Bloom off HPD and I didn't like want to suspend anything because it like what was this? Oh no, it was Hydra. It was Hydra. I went into Hydra because I had nothing else, but like he had nothing to suspend, so I wouldn't have gained memory off the Hydra. But I needed like the big body on board, so I didn't lose to D-Digivolve. So I HPD'd into Hydra just so he could put me back down to a 5 if he D-Digivolved me, which was fine because if I go down to a 5, I could Bloomlord on the next turn. And it was just super strong. He ended up not even D-Digivolving the Hydra, probably because they realized the same thing. It just puts me into a better situation. But Hydra is just a powerful floodgate that I went into just because. 2 Green Mem Boosts. This deck, like I said, can be very bricky. Mulligans help a lot, so I think we used to play this at 4, and now we're playing... I'm only playing it at 2. I don't think I really need more than 2. The memory's nice. The searching's nice. This is the only thing that can grab Quartzmon. I think that's the biggest deal about this, is if you're in a situation where it's like, okay, Quartzmon or lose, and if you've drawn a bunch of cards and you've sent Quartz back to your deck, like, you filtered a bunch, and then you probably just have to Green Mem Boost, try and hit Quartz, right? Because otherwise you lose if Quartzmon's what's holding that game together. If you guys like my videos, please consider dropping a like, subscribing, and leaving a comment. Tell me which deck you are looking forward to most in BT11. That being said, I'll see you all next time. Bye.